This is a pretty simple way to improve your comprehension and especially your speaking skills quickly. It's simple. It's not easy and requires some hard work, but as long as you stay consistent with this, you will improve quickly. Right? So this is what you need to do. It's a list of 15,000 plus sentences, 15,800, I think, and you need to learn them. How? Well, you first take the audio files. The audio files is in the target language only Ukrainian, no English. You learn the English by reading it from here. So you play the audio file while reading it. So you look at it, you read it. This will help you learn Cyrillic as well. You start listening to it while reading and quickly glance at this. You should be a pretty fast reader to be able to do this. You can slow down the audio file as well if you want, but I recommend just pushing through it and uh, trying to get faster at doing it. You can learn to read faster by training, just by trying to read faster. So you play it and you listen to it. You follow the text while listening to it, and then quickly glance at the sentence in English so you know the meaning. And you so in the gap, in the quick silence between both sentences, glance at it and then back to reading while listening, and you keep doing that. And I recommend doing this in batches of 200, 300 sentences, nothing over 1,000, because obviously if you go through the whole thing once and then one more time, it's a long time until you get to review the same sentences again. And yes, there is a lot of repetition of a lot of sentences that use similar structures and similar vocabulary, and you learn a lot just by going through it. But if you do it in batches, it's going to be easier. So the first 300 words of the first batch of words, of sentences rather, um, it'll be that'll be challenging at first, but once you go through it, the 300 sentences are 10 minutes of audio, maybe 15 minutes of audio. If you go through it 10 times, reading while listening, it'll be pretty easy by the end of it. And then the second batch will be way easier because now you're much faster at reading the language and you can keep doing it. And each batch will be way faster faster and easier than the previous one. So exercise number one is reading while listening. And if you don't understand much, it's not a big problem because, again, the same batch of sentences, the second time you read and listen while glancing at the meaning, you'll understand way more. Third time, you'll understand way more and probably won't have to look at the meaning that much. And after 5 reps of listening while reading, it'll be pretty easy to just understand while you are reading and listening without even having to check. To get extra reps, you should also listen to the audio files on repeat during the day. When you go for a walk or something, just listen to it as many times as you can. The more, the better. And once you can listen to the audio file, the first batch of uh, sentences, and you understand pretty much everything, it's time to learn another batch of sentences. And you start again. But this time, because you know so much vocab and you understand grammar now after learning so many sentences, you'll be able to learn them much faster. And the third batch will be way faster, and so on and so forth. And you keep adding them to the playlist. So you create a playlist and you listen to what you're learning right now, plus you listen to the previous ones so that you review them. So if you're learning sentences, uh, I don't know, 3,000 to 3,500 now, you still listen to the previous 3,000 on repeat. You'll you'll hear them less frequently because the more sentences there are, the less frequent they'll be because there's more material to review. But it's pretty easy to review a lot of it quickly because if you just play it in the background and listen to it passively, you can listen to it for hours and it's easy. You can do it while doing lots of other things. I don't know, working out, going for walks, commuting, driving, I don't know, cooking, cleaning, doing any kind of task that doesn't imply focus. Like you can just have something in the background, right? So the more of these sentences you review this way, the better you'll get at understanding the language. Even if you don't necessarily want, you don't, not all of them are super useful, but the more of this you do, the easier it will get for you to then combine the sentence structures and the vocab and form your own sentences. Of course, it's better to use your own sentences, your language islands, the ones that you specifically write. But that takes time and work to write down stuff, come up with things you want to be able to say, translate them, all of that. Meanwhile, this it's ready to go, and you can start learning. And you can learn hundreds, if not thousands, of sentences in a matter of weeks, and that will really boost your speaking skills. Finally, you read while listening, you listen to it on repeat, and finally, what you should also do is download this. And I can't really see it because my webcam covers the options here. But wait, I just you click here, and sorry, this is in Basque, so you probably won't understand anything. But yeah, you go to downloads here, values separated as commas, CSV, and you download it like this. So then you can import it to Anki as flashcards, and you can get this as flashcards, where you get the English first, and you try to say it in Ukrainian, and you click and you get the answer. And then, depending on how difficult it was, you'll get to see it again, like it's in 10 minutes, or in 3 days, or in whatever time. Yeah, this is spaced repetition. I'm sure you're familiar with Anki already, but this is a great way to then learn to use them actively, to be able to use them in speaking. Because it's one thing to be able to understand them, but it's a completely different thing to then be able to use the sentences when you're speaking yourself. That's much more difficult. So for that, translating from English into Ukrainian is really useful, because you are thinking in complete sentences, and if there's grammar that you don't know well, you're making mistakes, you'll immediately get the feedback on the other side of the flashcard. And if there's vocab that you don't know, and that you don't know how to say exhausted, or you don't know how to say cold, you can't say the sentence. But then you get the answer, and then in 10 minutes you try again, and you'll probably remember. This is one of the most effective ways to, if not the most effective way to learn stuff, according to scientists. So this is a very simple three-step process to learn hundreds and then thousands of sentences quickly. Read while listening, and look at the meaning, and then okay, you no, that's too much. Let's say you want to do 100 sentences a day, or 300 sentences a day. So you come all the way here, 100. You see, and pizza's cold. Like, there's a lot of repetition here. So you see the pizza's cold, and then here you saw I'm cold. So a lot of vocab keeps repeating itself in different contexts. So it's a great way to learn. So let's say you want to do 100. You go to 100 and then go back to the beginning and play it again, read it again, and you do 1 to 100 5 times maybe, or 10 times. And then you listen to it as well. And then tomorrow you do 100 to 200 or something like that. Or you do, I don't know, if you're really motivated, you can do 300 a day. And it doesn't mean that you'll understand all of them, or you'll remember all of them perfectly. But if you keep doing this, and then like you keep listening to them, and then you also do the flashcards, translating into the language. After, again, first time it's going to be very difficult, but if you've been reading and listening, and then listening several times, at least 10 reps in total of reading and listening, or just listening to the whole thing, it'll be much easier to then translate into the language. and actively learn the sentences and the vocab. Very simple, three-step process. Read while listening, just listen on repeat, lots of reps, and then Anki flashcards translate into the target language. Yeah, from English into Ukrainian, try to say it, check, and then try again later. Keep doing this, and you can learn hundreds and then thousands of sentences. And it's numbers might look scary, but the thing is, after the first few hundred sentences will be by far the most difficult. Once you've done it with 1,000 or even 500, it'll get faster and faster because you know a lot more vocab. Now you know the grammar, and like each batch of sentences will get way easier than the previous one. You'll get faster and faster at it. So, and you don't even need to learn the whole list. Like if you learn half of this, you'll probably already understand and speak pretty well, as long as you do the active part as well, right?